Hey everyone, I am Sir James and this is
me and Lydia.
And together we are Sir and Lydia. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Song. Before we move into anything, you'll notice that there has been a little bit of a location change and a time warp as well.
Yeah, our hair's grown out a bit.
Yeah, it's a dead giveaway, but rest assured that this is still your favourite duos, Sir and Lydia, back with another episode of your new favourite web series, Behind the Song, where we go into the stories behind each of the pieces that we put out on our first EP, This Mystery. What are we talking about today, Mia?
Today we're going to talk about Drone. It's the fourth track of our EP. I'm going to tell you about how it was written. So this was written before we even met, about 2018. It was written originally as two different songs. I'd come into a bit of a brick wall after some time and I couldn't figure out how to move each piece forward. So one night I was just like, let's join them together. And they ended up sounding pretty good actually. The first part was a bit slower and like a more steady paced rhythmic song. And then that last section, that was when it sort of started to space out a bit more and they ended up sounding really nice together. And originally it was just piano and the acoustic guitar and my vocals, but when I brought it forward to Joe, our drummer, and James, they all sort of put their individual parts in that made it so much better, and I didn't even realize it needed anything else, but it did.
And it was a really great challenge for me as well. Working with this amazing thing that Mia had written and brought forward with such interesting chord progressions and harmonic choices and stuff, figuring out a way that I can add something or write a guitar part that meaningfully adds to what Mia had already written and her piano part especially. And it was a great challenge. It was a great investigation. I had to figure out some interesting chord progressions and chord voicings to go over the progression. And it extended me as a guitarist in a way that's always really valuable. So I'm super proud of that part and I'm super proud of the song that we wrote. What's it about?
So, it's about when someone finishes their time with someone that they've been really close to, when they've separated. It's just when they've split up and this person's quite heartbroken and they're struggling to deal with the feelings that ensue. It's called Drone because that feeling that you feel when you're just separated with someone it's like this drone in the back of your mind where you're trying to move forward with your day. You can go about your daily business, jobs and other commitments. You just have to deal with this feeling. And so yeah, it was about that. And it's quite profound. It's quite a reflective song. Yeah.
It's a really interesting piece in the overall narrative puzzle we put together for This Mystery. This Mystery as an EP overall is about the roller coaster of emotion that we experience through the course of our lives. And by comparison, a song like Look Back, the second tune from the EP, is further down the line. It's written further down the line when you're able to look back on a relationship and be able to weigh up objectively the good and the bad and what you learned from it. Where, interestingly, Drone is written much closer to the event, and it's when it's still fresh, when this heartache and this heartbreak is within you and you haven't been able to move forward enough to see whether or not it was a good thing. You just have to kind of wait for these feelings to pass.
Yeah.
Do you have any highlights from when we recorded it?
I think since I did a demo of that song like before we'd met, I pulled it up and I realized I forgot what harmonies I used for that second part that I love so much about it. So kind of had to improvise the harmonies. James and I sort of took turns going into the studio and just recording over each other's layered vocals.
Yeah, they're like 11 p.m. at night. It was
just our eyes were just baggy.
Yeah, I think for me it was I had a really great time on the guitars day. We were working with our recording engineer Andrew, who we owe kind of everything to.
Love and adore him.
And he and I spent literally hours playing around with the amp and with the microphone placements and just trying to find a way to keep the guitar tone really clean but also really full harmonically and a beautiful texture, a juicy texture to it. And it's sublime. I just remember when we finally got it and I was playing to very little. I think we had the drums and the piano and that was it that I was playing to. But for me, I'll never forget sitting in the studio and jamming along and
having a good time.
Having a great time was one of my favourite moments. So, any favourite parts of the song?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a dead giveaway, but that transition part at the end, the harmonies when they come in, it changes the song, so much. It goes from this steady rhythmic piece. It was quite sort of simple, but yet still profound. And then all of a sudden, it's just very spaced out, reverberated, and the sound is so much bigger.
Totally changed. Yeah, I think for me, it's obvious to say that ending section is a highlight, because it is. But I think that what's also really good about the song is that first half is riddled with little moments that are sublime, such as when our voices first come together in the first sort of descending bit, kind of like a chorus, and Joe's entry in the first half, or after the first half of that initial section, it's just so strong and so profound that it's hard for that also not to be a highlight.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thank you. I think that's it for Drone. That was the 4th episode, and we'll move on to the 5th one next time for Keep It a Mystery. And thank you very much for watching.
Thank you. We'll see you later.
See you later.